You wake up and feel like something is sucking up your battery life like a background app you never installed. You smile, acting as emotional Wi-Fi for everyone, and meanwhile, the percentage drops 87, 63, 24. They're not monsters with fangs. They're good people with mangy hearts and a hand always reaching for your power outlet. They tell you about their wounds as if they were TripAdvisor reviews of their pain. They ask for just 5 minutes and drain you for an hour. They make you believe that your talent, feeling, is a limitless ATM. You read micro-expressions from a distance like a detective with superpowers, but you forget to read your own, those dark circles under your eyes that look like two open curly brackets that never close. And the paradox is cruel. The more you shine, the more you attract moths disguised as profound souls. The more you take care, the more you become a 24-hour pharmacy for other people's dramas. The bad news? The withdrawal is invisible. It passes through the cable of compliments and caresses with the back of the blade. The good? Here you learn to see the makeup beneath the veneer of intimacy, to distinguish true connection from a jumper cable, love from dependence, compassion from self-cannibalism. You don't harden your heart, you put a dust filter on it. You don't turn off the light, you stop leaving it on for those who don't pay the bill. Like now, if you want the algorithm to understand that you're choosing clean energy. They tell you you're special because you feel everything, and meanwhile, they treat your nervous system like a supermarket sponge. Absorb, squeeze, repeat. Their stories sink straight into your marrow, pressing the right buttons like someone who's learned the secret sequence on your internal remote control. It's not a coincidence. They activate your empathy with surgical precision, mixing confessions, charged silences, micro gestures that they know will make you say, "Stay, I'm listening." Is the connection real? Yeah, like a cable properly plugged into the outlet. It passes current one way. And while you feel like the most seen person in the world, you're just financing yet another person's blackout with your portable generator. The body never lies and sends push notifications. Sudden, unexplained fatigue, thoughts lumpy like poorly leavened bread, shoulders shriveled, stomach making protesting noises. You open the explanation app and select, "I'm exaggerating." It's the oldest trick in the book, making you doubt your alarm while the stovetop catches fire. No drama is needed, just the right whisper. Maybe you're too sensitive, and your compass turns on itself. Call it what you want. It's gaslighting from the part of you that doesn't want to grow. Their shadows signing a fake note saying, "Your problem." The sequence is always the same. First, recognition of the light. They come in and sniff you like cats with the warmest seat. They sense that you give more than you take, that you handle responsibilities without slamming doors, that you ask little and offer much. Second, exposure of the wound. They don't ask, they show. Pain in 4K. Childhood fractured, the implicit promise that you could finally be the difference. Third, activation. The soap opera begins with daily episodes, office hour crises, long text messages, tears with cliffhangers. You become director, lighting technician, screenwriter. Fourth, normalization. The energy drop is renamed true love, the headache, depth, the lump in your throat, an old soul. And you turn down the alarm because it always rings. Beneath it all lies the unforgiving archetype, the wounded healer encountering the shadow eater. You confuse usefulness with love, repair with intimacy, your fear of being abandoned with the mission of never abandoning anyone. Your shadow isn't cruelty, it's the need to be indispensable, that tiny shiver when someone says, "I can't do it without you." It seems noble to you, but it's dangerously convenient. Healing the other avoids looking at where you burn. They're not cartoonish villains, they're incomplete. They've locked up the warehouse of their emotions, and now they shop at other people's homes. They don't cultivate a flame. They borrow yours and warm their hands until you tremble. The more you give, the more they ask. The more you save them, the more chronic they become. And the more you shine, the longer their shadows. It's like feeding someone with indigestion. They can swallow anything and never feel satisfied. And you, generous cook, end up serving endless courses in a windowless kitchen. The crossroads you don't want arrives. feeling their hunger, their emptiness, their "please don't fade away," and at the same time the realization that every yes you say becomes a no to yourself. The truth is brutal and liberating. You don't heal anyone by allowing them to chew on your essence. Love isn't a constant transfusion. You don't bring back whole someone who has chosen, unknowingly, to remain broken. Your light isn't intensive care. It's a beacon. It helps you find your way, not set up a permanent camp. Romantic scenario. Sarah meets David in a, deep context. Conversations about life, meaningful silences, shining eyes like pools of water, harsh stories, promises of rebirth, the thrill of finally being understood. After a few months, however, her phone becomes a fire siren. Calls during meeting time, a cascade of outbursts, no room for her feelings. When she tries to express her pain, the scene always revolves around the sole protagonist, him. As soon as he sets simple boundaries like, "Let's talk later, I can't today," the mask slips. "You're cold, you're not the same as before, you're abandoning me." Simultaneous translation, the fountain has closed, we need another place. Family scenario. McKelly has a mother whose emotional volume is always on 10. Every day is an emergency, every silence a betrayal, every attempt to distance herself a disaster waiting to happen. The blackmail is subtle and ferocious. "You're the only one who understands me. Without you, I'll collapse." As a child, he learned that his peace is worth less than his usefulness. As an adult, he feels guilty even at the thought of breathing alone. When he mentions boundaries, he's not killing love, he's saving oxygen. But the first free breath burns like a winter chill on the cheeks.
Work scenario. Lisa's colleague turns crisis into a personal brand. Meetings are overrun by drama, hallways are transformed into confessionals. Individual problems are passed off as team emergencies. The narrative is elegant. I'm sensitive in a cynical environment. The subtext is a blank check on your time. If you try not to sign, you become the detached one. Yet, upon closer inspection, it's just a well-packaged emotional outsourcing. Their mess becomes a collective responsibility while you tidy up your drawer and are seen as selfish. Here is where the real alarm goes off. When you start turning off the taps, the drama increases. The more unavailable you become as a source, the more dramatic the crises become. Requests with flashing red priorities, sartorial accusations about your identity, you're not the real one, old memories used as harpoons. It seems like proof you're making a mistake, but it's confirmation you're succeeding. The system that feeds on you is attempting one last assault before shutting down. Stay the course. Sane people will understand. Those who truly care will add their light to yours instead of putting their hats on it. When you stop being rented as a generator, you become a danger to systems that thrive on stolen electricity. An alert empath is a mirror that doesn't disguise. It reflects disorder without captions, forces others to see themselves without a filter of beauty. The dynamics that live by your "I'll take care of it" label you a logistical problem. You're no longer an available wall outlet, you're a switch with a sense of purpose. A strange magic happens. Your light doesn't narrow, it focuses. It's not there to illuminate their basement, but your path. And you discover that kindness with boundaries isn't coldness, it's the right temperature. No more free emotional saunas. The entrance fee, however, is this. You must accept that those who benefited from your automatic yes won't like you. You must tolerate offended faces, monologues worthy of a victim fest, passive-aggressive messages with 3 dots at the end like Swiss Army knives. You must choose half an hour of true solitude over 12 hours of company that empties you like a refrigerator on the 15th of the month. Is it scary? Yes. Is it freedom? Even more so. You'll discover that a bond that upholds your boundaries also upholds your absences, while dependent relationships collapse as soon as you stop being a crutch. This is where the real discernment comes in, the real kind. Helping isn't adopting other people's chaos as a pet.
Compassion isn't becoming the planet's complaints office. You learn the difference between care and custody, between presence and emergency room, between listening and absorbing. You realize that there's a love that doesn't tire you out. It's the kind in which the other person bears their share of the burden without nailing your back. And suddenly, your body, which previously screamed into the void, relaxes. Your breathing lengthens. Your shoulders relax. Your head clears a window after the rain. 3 levels to clarify without fairy tales. Level 1, the unconscious empath. You're a radio that picks up all the frequencies at once. Music, commercials, interference, even the weather forecast for another city. You're always tired and think it's your fault. You attract consumers because you don't yet know how to say off-screen. Goal? Learn the volume knob, distinguish yours from what isn't yours. Put up signs that say, "No downloading here." Level 2 is the conscious empath. You recognize your talent and use it with intention. You enter emotional rooms with clean shoes and a watch on your wrist. You feel without swallowing. You listen without becoming a pit. You have basic energy protection techniques and boundaries that sometimes falter when the orchestra of guilt kicks in. You slip every now and then, but you get back up more quickly, like someone who now knows where the treacherous step is. Level 3 is the sovereign empath. You no longer offer your light as a buffet, you serve it a la carte. You've integrated the shadow that made you enjoy being indispensable, and now you prefer being authentic to being useful. You attract people who know how to give back. They don't just take, they invest. Your sensitivity becomes a tool for understanding, not a magnetic trap. You sense authentic emotions and distinguish performative ones like a perfect pitch that picks out the wrong note in a chorus. To level up, you need the courage to disappoint. Disappoint those who want you to be infinite, those who confuse your affection with self-service, those who call you cold when you stop burning yourself to warm them. Every no you say to proximity abuse is a yes to your nervous system. Every boundary safeguards the present and the future, giving you back hours of life that no one will ever refund. There's a warning that cuts like glass. Once you see, you can no longer unsee. Once you recognize the withdrawal mechanism, the noise bothers you even at low volume. Once you taste energetic sovereignty, emotional slavery tastes like stale bread. Is it uncomfortable? Yes. Does it take away relationships? The wrong ones? Yes. Does it give you yourself? Without a receipt, but guaranteed. Beware of the twin error of awakening, confusing boundaries with walls. If you curl up like a hedgehog to avoid feeling anything, you haven't become wise, you're anesthetized. Strength isn't cold, it's choice. Feel with intention, not reflex. Offer your presence without unpaid rent. Remain soft of heart and steady of hand, like someone who knows how to keep the steering wheel straight even when the road twists and turns. The burning truth is also the liberating one. Your light protects you before guiding others. The more you stop letting yourself be bitten, the more energy you have to grow and heal and create. You become a beacon for those who truly have a boat, not a fire for those who just want to warm up for a minute. And when someone tries the classic arsenal again, guilt, shame, threats of collapse, timed urgencies, attacks on your identity, you recognize the script and don't fund it. Every no to vampirism is a yes to your evolution. Every boundary is a vote for the version of you that no longer trades peace for applause. When the faucet turns off, the extinction of the species begins. Dramas with sirens, "You disappointed me," sewn onto you like a license plate. Emotional emergency room emergencies at midnight. It's the escalation of hunger, not proof of your cruelty. You'll feel like you're cutting someone's oxygen. In reality, you're just stopping breathing for them. The system attempts a final sprint to get back in through the window after you've closed the door. guilt like a battering ram, shame like smoke, fear like a burglar alarm. You see the script, name the cards one by one, and don't deal with them. The compass returns to north. If a relationship collapses when you say, "I need to recharge," it wasn't a bond, it was a supply contract.
Healthy people don't pay with your blood. They respect pauses, praise your no's, contribute their share, and don't ask you for emotional overtime. You recognize it immediately. With them, you finish a conversation and feel clearer, no longer blurry, broader inside, no longer narrow, like after a shower, not like after unclogging a drain. These are relationships with their own gravity. They don't suck you in, they orbit alongside you. There, you understand that love isn't 24-hour maintenance. It's elegant, shared responsibility. And that your sensitivity ceases to be a stigma and becomes an instrument, a tuning fork that tells you where there is music and where there's only disguised noise. Now comes the part that makes you a magnet for what you truly desire, becoming the kind of person you want to meet. No performance, just congruence. If you want mutual exchanges, you learn the art of receiving without apology. If you want authenticity, you give up the interpretation that everyone likes and stick with the one that keeps you grounded. If you want conscious connections, you practice sacred boredom. No emotional roller coasters to feel alive, but stability that doesn't put on a show and saves the nervous system. Your presence stops being a buffet and becomes a kitchen that opens and closes with its own schedule. Quality over quantity, small, carefully prepared portions, zero waste. Here we ground the act of defense. Light, the method for not burning while illuminating. L, read the energetic signature. Record how you feel before, during, and after contact. Drama equals drainage. Clarity equals nourishment. Your body is your voltmeter. If it drops, take note. Don't justify it. I, integrate the shadow. Recognize the secret pleasure of being indispensable, the phobia of disappointing, the myth that love is earned with unlimited service. You bring people to the light, and they stop driving secretly. G, guarantee your energy. No is a sacred word. Not now is a seatbelt. It's not mine is an anti-theft system. It's not selfishness. It's routine maintenance. H, honor your nature. Stop dimming the light so as not to make those in the dark feel bad. Individuation isn't about becoming harsh. It's about becoming precise. T, transform trauma into technique. The radar born for survival becomes a compass for choosing. You feel without absorbing. You accompany without replacing yourself. You love without consuming yourself. When you apply light, you don't turn to stone. You become a high-fidelity filter. You see the difference between authentic emotion and performance, between confession and release, between I need you and I need someone to hold me. You no longer enter the home of someone who leaves all the faucets running and then asks you to mop the floor. You begin to recognize the dignity of others. You don't save them, you empower them. If they refuse, it's not your failure. It's their missed appointment with the mirror. Expect the classic counterattack. After everything I told you, I thought you were different. You've become cold. If you leave, I'll collapse. It's the arsenal of emotional dependence. Guilt to keep you glued, shame to shrink you, fear of being alone as a chain. The countermove isn't shouting louder. It's naming the theater. This is blackmail, not a relationship. This is a clockwork urgency, not a real need. This is identity used as a harpoon. The mere act of seeing devalues the currency of the trick. The light of awareness doesn't burn, it sterilizes. An alert empath disrupts unconscious-based systems because it cuts off their main fuel. your automatic availability. You become a mirror that reflects back the workload you're not entitled to. You stop being a habitat for other people's shadows and become a beacon for those who have decided to leave the harbor. And yes, it takes the courage to be misunderstood. Choosing "you don't understand me today" over tomorrow's guaranteed discomfort is maturity, not coldness. Better a quiet room with one sturdy chair than a room full of wobbly chairs that ask you to hold them all. The final risk is to disguise walls as borders, to anesthetize yourself, to act icy, to call hibernation strength. That's not the game. The game is to remain tactile in the world without being flayed, to keep your heart at human temperature and your door locked, to give where there is exchange, to withdraw where there is withdrawal, to stop where more destroys. It's craftsmanship, not magic. You refine, you try, you make mistakes, you correct. Every time you resist the call of "just this once," a muscle is exercised. Every time you remain in the discomfort of "no," a root grows. When you take down the "always open" sign, some knock louder. It's the so-called last roar of the shadow. Greater crises, tearful promises, sartorial accusations sewn onto your identity. You're not being cruel, you're just stepping out of the role of vending machine. Read the surge for what it is, abstinence from you, and stand firm. People of integrity don't punish you for your boundaries. They recognize them as an invitation to reciprocity. You notice it physically. Conversations that leave air in your lungs, ideas that ignite instead of dying, silences that rest instead of threatening. There, your sensitivity stops being a bait and becomes sonar. It identifies reefs, not gets swallowed up. Becoming a lighthouse doesn't mean blinding. It means guiding those who have decided to navigate. You stop setting yourself on fire to warm those who refuse a blanket and start investing where heat generates heat. At that point, standard tactics lose their grip. Guilt, shame, alarm, disguised urgency, character attacks, you name them and they deflate like punctured balloons. Every no you give is a yes to evolution. Every boundary is a vote of confidence in the version of you that no longer trades peace for approval. You discover yourself to be less good and infinitely more righteous. With yourself, with those who truly want to grow, with the world that stops delegating its emotional maintenance to you. The next step is fierce and luminous. You stop engaging in dynamics that require your pickaxe and start demanding exchanges where every person brings their own light. You become the person you want to attract. You listen without vampirizing. You ask without demanding. You offer without mutilation. You practice the nobility of the obvious. You rest. You eat. You say, "I'll take care of it," instead of "I'll take care of it." You let frustration do its educational work. Love is not measured in kilowatt hours, but in the quality of presence. And your presence, calibrated, begins to act as a natural selection. Those who vibrate high remain. Those who sought an electrical outlet slip away. There's always an invisible price to waking up, being misunderstood by those who confuse gift with obligation. You accept shedding roles, savior, improvised therapist, 24-hour switchboard, to rediscover yourself whole. It's the adult version of "I'd rather disappoint today than disappear tomorrow." You'll discover that true solitude doesn't last long. The liberated space calls for people with structure, not just stories. Your light, protected, stops attracting moths and begins guiding travelers. Keep your guard against the most subtle disguise. Walls masquerading as borders. Total armor is merely anesthesia. It confuses cold with strength. You remain tactile, but not expendable. Available, but not replaceable. Warm, but not combustible. It's daily craftsmanship, micro adjustments, physical check-ins, honest reports after every interaction. Mistakes, corrects, repeats. Each iteration strengthens the muscle of choice. Feel yes, absorb no, love yes, annul yourself? No. Stay yes as long as there's exchange. In the end, the picture becomes as simple as a clean formula. Your light isn't fuel for other people's cellars, it's guidance for your own path. The more you stop letting yourself be bitten, the more energy you have to grow, create, and truly heal. You become contagious in the best sense, not because you empty yourself, but because you show that you can remain good without being edible. Here, you don't build fortresses, you train your consciousness. And consciousness is the ultimate firewall. It lets love through, blocks the drain, sounds the alarm when the old you tries to turn the tap back on out of nostalgia. Now breathe and look back for a second. You see the script. You see how it hooks. You see when your body tried to warn you. You've learned to name the tricks and to stay whole while the emotional world of others makes its waves. You haven't become tough. You've become precise. And precise is better than perfect because perfect is a cage, precise is a key. Let's close here with a simple
non-negotiable truth. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw to be managed, it's a talent to be directed. Your empathy isn't an unlimited service, it's a gift to be offered in moderation. Your light doesn't have to burn to be useful, it must illuminate so you can walk. If this resonated with you, leave a like now. It's your way of telling me I'm choosing clean energy and living borders. And now, the choice is mature, complete. If you recognize yourself in these mechanisms and want to establish them in the flesh, write in the comments the concrete boundary you will set starting today. A phrase, a time, a sacred "not now." Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you want a weekly map to preserve your light without turning to stone. Share this video with those who continue to confuse love with exhaustion. It could be the lifesaver they've been missing. Thank you for your time, for your honesty, for the courage to remain soft and firm. I wish you relationships that expand your horizons and days when your light illuminates you first, then the rest of the world, without discounts, but without waste. See you soon, and keep burning only what keeps you alive.